weather got me feeling blue. Rainy streets were in the sheets, in my arms I'm feeling you. Here we go again, my only friend, you make me feel brand new. And you know what's up. Now we're going down. Now we're going up. Now we're going down. Stood in bed all day, cause it's raining in LA. Been there since yesterday, cause it's raining in LA. Stood in bed all day, cause it's raining in LA. Been there since yesterday, cause it's raining in LA. Stood in bed all day, cause it's raining in LA. Been there since yesterday, cause it's raining in LA. Stood in bed all day, cause it's raining in LA. Been there since yesterday, cause it's raining in LA.
Off the dome?
Like off the top of the head.
Like off the, like, improv?
Off the top of our heads. Oh, hey guys, welcome back to Lost in Translation. We watched another great foreign film from Israel this week. It was pretty epic.
You were just played in by the mellow sounds of Frank Javci with Raining in LA.
And we watched Foxtrot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Went from Lebanon to Israel.
Yeah.
What a ride.
Kind of like Lebanon.
It was directed by Samuel Mayos.
Mayos.
I
don't know. Some Hebrew
And
guy.
it was interesting, that's for sure.
It was.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it was not. It's not an enjoyable watch.
I probably, if I remembered more about it, I probably wouldn't have chosen it.
I probably watched it because it was a nice change from what we've been watching. But I get it's not something I'd watch. I don't know. It's none of these really are movies I would normally watch, but it's definitely not something I would have chosen. So I'm glad that we watched it.
I saw it a few years ago. Oh, whoops. Saw it a few years ago, and I remember really enjoying it. And I still enjoyed it, but it was just a lot slower than what I was used to. And I was like, oh. And it was very depressing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was not a happy film. It was a rather sad,
melancholic. So in this movie, a guy finds out his son is dead, and it's literally that for like 45 minutes. And then it shows the son, and the son is at war, and he does some stuff. And
I don't know if he. To me, it didn't seem like he was at war. He was a soldier in the army, and he was at this place called. He was at this
border checkpoint called Foxtrot.
Yeah, called Foxtrot, exactly. And he was just like one of 4 guys who switches out rotations and.
They're pretty much like traffic guards, essentially.
Yeah. And
they're like a border patrol, but like no one crosses.
And they're super bored and just vibing out.
Yeah.
And there's an incident at this border patrol place.
Yeah.
And
and then it switches back to the dad.
And then it switches back to the father and the mother.
and they're like, "Damn, we're sad."
Yeah, they're like, "Dang, we're sad," and then they're like, the mother's baking a cake, and it's alluding to the fact that this is like the son's birthday or whatever, and then it's like,
and then it's over.
he is actually dead, and it's
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's
And they
kind of confusing and convoluted as to how it comes about. His death
Yeah.
comes about, but he
I really felt lost at the end there, but I think that was kind of the point.
yeah.
What
It
was
supposed to be?
What was the 3 like parts? You said there was like
There were 3
they had a
parts.
mean-
Yeah. So I was reading on, I think it was IMDb. I don't remember, but they have like a trivia section, and one of the trivia pieces was that the director wanted the first part of the movie to be shocking, and it definitely was, because it starts out and it's some soldiers coming to the door, and the mother just passes out and goes into a fit, and they have to like give her to sedate her, and the father just doesn't know what to do because his son's died. It's absolutely tragic. And then at the end of this section of just absolute grief between the family coming to terms with the fact that their son has died, they say there's been a terrible mistake. Your son's actually not dead. It was a false positive. And so then the second part is supposed to be hypnotizing, which I didn't really understand too much. But I guess it's because it's rather slow in the middle section. And this middle section is with the son at the border patrol place with his other soldiers. It's rather the whole movie is kind of a slow burn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part was kind of seemed more relaxed, especially considering the first part is so intense of your son
There's a
has
lot
died.
of there's a lot of kind of surreal moments in the second part.
Yeah, I
Like
think
the
that
camel keeps
that goes with
walking back and forth,
yes,
and the
rolling the
I don't know,
can like every night,
yeah, rolling the can, and like the toy robot.
and his drawings,
Yeah, and his drawings. So
and
you're
then
kind of just like,
mhm.
oh, this is kind of, because that's the part of the movie that I remember the most,
I think
and I
it
was like, oh,
makes
it's
up.
kind of fun.
I don't know. I think that made up the meat of the movie.
And then the last part is,
And then for the last part, oh, did I forget it? Oh, the third part should be moving.
oh yeah,
And that goes with, it's a very, when the mother's like making the cake and she's putting like a 20 on it, I feel like you
yeah.
get a very,
I think
it
it's a
hits you.
23.
Maybe it's 23. I thought it was 20. I couldn't really
Yeah,
tell.
I saw 20 as well, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know really. And then yeah, and she's talking about how she like sold all her son's stuff, and the father talks about how he had a near death experience when he was in the army, and that the fact that he had his son right after kind of made him regain his composure, because he thought that he like had a purpose still to be on this earth, basically.
Yeah.
And so that part really
And then
really
his son
hits.
dies.
Yeah, and then his son is killed, or not killed, but his son dies. Yeah, it's definitely.
It's like, I think the last part of the movie, like, I thought was like really well done, and like the
I did
pacing's
too.
really great, and all the performances are great, and like the rest of the movie's really well done, but I just feel like it was too slow. And I get that's like kind of the point,
Mhm.
because like it's supposed to like sort of drag on, but it just like it wasn't like it was like okay. But the last part, it like there's this
I think
like
it comes together
they
well
like
in
switch
the end.
emotions or like within like between sentences, and it's like insane, and like you can feel everything, and it's pretty like it like kind of invests you.
I agree. I think it does a good job at the end there of kind of showing where the parents are and kind of how they're coping and what
Yeah,
their lives are like now.
but yeah, So would you give?
I agree with your statement about the movie. It was very well acted. It was well shot. It it was just too slow. It was great otherwise, and it was pretty moving.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a very tough subject too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the director did a very good job of tackling a very taboo subject. Well, maybe not taboo, but a very difficult subject to talk about. So
Yeah.
So what would you guys rate this movie?
I would give it. I think I would give it either a 6.5 or a 7. In this very similar vein of Roma, of it's not 100% my type of movie.
Mhm.
And as we were talking about, it was a little slow burning, but I think that slow burn was deliberate. So I didn't really have any. I don't have any issues with the movie. I think it's just more of it was good and it did a lot of things very well. It's just not it's not what I would really want to see in a movie all the time.
Mhm.
I can't really place, oh, this was bad, because I think everything in it was good. It's just, it's not my kind of movie. But that being said, it was still fantastic.
Nice. I would give it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, I pretty much echo what y'all say. It was, a beautiful film, good work of art. It was just too slow. I thought your point about the 3 parts was very interesting. I think the director nailed all 3 of those. Like,
I do too. Right after watching it, I was kind of, I guess maybe, but now kind of re-going over it with you guys, I really do think he nailed those parts very well.
Yeah. I would give it a 8 out of 10.
nice.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie.
And
Really, I enjoyed a lot of it. But yeah, it is kind of slow. But it's like whenever I think of this, I always like in my head always compare it to like other movies that I just like I can't like say have like any meaning. I think like one of the like peak like average movies that I've ever seen is I was thinking about this yesterday. It's Bohemian Rhapsody.
oh,
I
you are
like
gonna catch some flack for that from some people. Some
I
people love
kind of
that
like
movie.
hate that movie. And like it's just so boring. And like just so like I was watching a scene, my mom was watching it and I was like watching a scene and I was like this is just so average and like the dialogue just doesn't like it doesn't mean anything. Like and there's something like this, I was like, oh, like I gotta give it props for like even though I kind of like I enjoy a lot of other movies. I was like I gotta give it props just for like actually being something.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to highlight that the scale we're going on of is 5 is average. So
Yeah. I think we
BlootScoot
all have
rated
kind of
it about
different.
average. And then I rated it a little above average, and then DJ Gothunk rated it pretty well above
Yeah.
average. So, but I think all of our movies have fallen into the above average category.
Yeah.
I think we've all scored them that way.
Yeah.
Nah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You should go vote.
I know something that I could bring up.
Oh, really? Do tell.
So I think this movie provides a good example of like whenever I've just like been thinking about this because I see whenever I watch a movie from like a foreign language movie that's like a pretty much purely a drama. Like there's this one, I don't know, a few of the ones we've watched this semester. I found that they're like a lot more interesting than dramas from the United States. And maybe it's because of what I was sort of saying with like Bohemian Rhapsody, where it's just like it feels like the movies that I find that are in foreign language actually have something to say. And I'm trying to think of like what I would consider like a drama movie, because I don't think Bohemian Rhapsody is technically that, but it's just like
Interesting.
they're a little bit more, I guess, poetic might be the word. Like just the whole plot of this movie is like so interesting, you know?
I agree. Yeah.
Like
I want to.
it's kind of wet, like oh, he's not dead, and then he's like, oh, he's actually dead.
Mhm.
But it's like even that's like more engaging, I feel like, than a lot of plots that are
Yeah,
from the
because it
United States.
intrigues you. It pulls you in of what's going on.
Have
Yeah,
you
I
guys?
agree with that. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. I want to go back just a second because you talked about how you don't think American. Did you say or because you talked about how you didn't think you would classify Bohemian Rhapsody as a drama or stuff like that? Because to me, I feel that there's a kind of a trend going on right now in movie making of reboots and
Mhm.
telling the stories that of real life events or with embellishments or whatever, like Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, and then obviously there's a whole bunch of reboots going on and stuff. Do you think
I don't know.
that
People. Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Finish your
I don't know. To me, it seems that way, but then again, I haven't been around for a whole bunch of time, so I can't really place what the current stuff
No, yeah.
is.
Sorry, finish your
But
question.
do you think that? What's your opinion on that? Do you think that American cinema should stop just rebooting old stuff that's been successful and try and do
I
something new and different, like foreign films kind of do, or do you think that that's not
I
really
just
what the American audience wants to see?
I don't know. I don't really care as much. I feel like a lot of people do I listen to like one of the film podcasts I listen to is always talking about how like, oh, Disney's like ruining everything, but it's like if you know where to look, it's like it's not really all reboots. Like I never saw like the Ghostbusters reboot,
I didn't
or
either.
like I don't know. I don't see a lot of like mainstream movies, or like the Jumanji. I mean, it's like yeah, there are a lot of reboots, but it's like it if that's not your thing, then like that's not all that's out there. And I feel like people kind of emphasize that.
Yeah.
Or like the Disney reboots, and it's like just don't watch them if
hmm
if you really don't like reboots. Um, and I think yeah, if you look in the right places, there are a lot of like really good. One of my favorite movies from shoot, when was it? I think it was the year that Bohemian Rhapsody came out. Was that 2018? One of my favorite movies from that year was You Were Never Really Here, and it's like it's not really an action movie, but it's like sort of like a thriller, and like no one really saw it. It was like it's a really good movie, and it's like pretty exciting. So it's like
Bohemian Rhapsody won the Oscars, right?
no, Green Book did.
Green Book did. That's right.
I guess that's a drama. I think I think I've rated Bohemian Rhapsody higher than Green Book.
I
Green
know a
Book's
lot of people
awful.
disagreed with the Green Book
Yeah, it's like
Oscar.
that's a horrible movie. It's like I mean it's like a feel good and like whatever, and I can see like where people would like vote for it, I guess. But yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, I heard some controversy about how there's a lot of kind of whitewashing of because it was based on true events, and I kind of heard there's a lot of
Yeah.
whitewashing that went into it so that it would be more feel good and enjoyable for the audience, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it, so I can't say if, and obviously I don't know, so I can't really say if that's 100% true. Um,
Yeah, there
But
was
then
like
again, I don't really
the
remember
the events
exactly what
of
was
it.
going on at 2018 Oscars too much.
There is a lot of politics behind the Oscars.
Yeah, I know there is a lot of
that are
politics
kind of
around it.
interesting. The reason I don't like Green Book is I don't like I know people like say like, oh, the story was like misrepresented by the like writer and the director, and like that's not how the actual relationship between the two guys is. But it's like also it's like this story about racism, especially in our day and age, is the story about racism written by like this sort of white guy from like an elite class. And that
Yeah,
year, if you wanted to pick like I mean, not like a feel good movie, but if you wanted to pick like a movie that highlighted like racial topics, there are two movies that were like just as good, if not better, on the ticket. Actually, there were three because that was Roma's year. Um, but there's like Black Klansman, and then there was Black Panther, which I know those like Black Panther is not like an amazing movie, but it's like it's better than Green Book. And it was actually
yeah.
directed by a black guy, so it would make more sense to pick that one over this movie. But like I don't know, and there's just so many like random like stereotypes in Green Book that make it so it's just kind of cringy, and it obviously doesn't like want to make a conversation about like problems that we have like right now. I could
It's
go
interesting.
on.
That's an
I'm
interesting
kind of
take.
intrigued to just watch it just to see kind of what you're
Yeah.
talking about. But at the same time, I don't really want to because I haven't really
Has
heard that many great things about it.
Have you seen like a feel good movie like set in the 60s about race?
Um,
Like I don't know, like
uh,
just like driving. There's a ton of them. I'm sure you've seen one, and
I probably
it's
have.
the same thing.
Okay.
I don't think there's a reason to watch it. But if
Hmm.
you are curious, if my glowing recommendation drives you to it,
Yeah, that's
but
interesting.
yeah, and it's like but it's like I think people like that, so I'm not about to like get on people's case for liking that.
Yeah, I mean
But it's like
it's
if
a
you don't
feel
like
good movie
that,
for a reason, but at the same time, you don't really. I don't know. You don't want the
it's
feel
like
good to be taking over what the main idea of making the movie is.
mhm. And it's like if you
Which, if you're
don't like
trying to
that,
highlight race in a very uh, troublesome time, it's not
yeah. And
whitewashing. It's not the answer. Needless
if
to say.
something like Green Book doesn't like make you don't enjoy something like that, then I'm trying to give people plenty of options to find plenty of other movies about a wide variety of topics, including race, that they can enjoy. That might not be in their sphere,
In their sphere.
such
All
as
right. Well, is it trivia time? I think it might be trivia
yeah,
time.
you
We've
give quick
gotten very
trivia
off
time.
topic movie today.
Actually do a good trivia time because I might just cut out some of the stuff I said.
Yeah, we have
I
some
think
stuff.
we can keep it. I don't know.
We can
Well,
cut some of it out, but I think we should focus on
We
trivia.
are running out of time, but we can cut this.
I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting that this movie had some controversy involved in it, or it received some controversy for the events depicted. Um, the Jonathan, the son, is a member of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, and um, there's a depiction of the IDF shooting 4 Arab youths, and that caused some major controversy about that kind of depiction.
It in the movie that happens, and then the entire events are covered up by some higher ups in the military, and it was criticized by some people in the government of Israel for being an anti-Israeli narrative. So kind of serious. Yeah, I can understand where the controversy comes from, because watching that scene, I was kind of, I don't know if I was surprised, and I was kind of appalled, and it was just so, it felt so wrong, because like we said, Jonathan is involved in this incident, and he kills 4 innocent people mistakenly. And it's just swept under the rug, and it seems so. It's depicted as so easy and second-handed to, I think when one of them talks on the radio, they've even got like code for it already. Happened again, and they just send a bulldozer and just kind of bury it quickly. And I think that it's supposed to be shocking, and
Yeah,
And in response to that criticism, the director made a statement. Do you want to say that statement?
Sure. If I criticize a place I live, I do it because I worry. I do it because I want to protect it. I do it from love. So the scene was criticism, but it was not supposed to be some sort of anti-Israel. It was supposed to be a
Call
for reform, I guess.
Call some attention to the issue.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it. So that was interesting. That whole controversy arose. Yeah.
That's some cool trivia.
Cool trivia.
But we're just about out of time.
We're just about out of time, ladies and
So-
gentlemen. It is that time again.
So, would you guys do you want another depressing movie?
Let's do it.
Why
again.
not? We just
Or-
finished one.
Should we take something a little more lighthearted?
I leave it up to you.
We're
Director
gonna go
Gothunk.
lighthearted. I think I haven't seen this one,
What's it called?
but we're going across or not quite all the way across the Mediterranean.
And back in time.
Yeah, we are going back in time this one. To Italia
Italia.
for Cinema Paradiso.
Paradiso.
See you next week.
See ya next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.